marginal conditions here.
It is chaos and carnage on the Havarti Dog.
This is fantastic sailing.
Team New Zealand are in a magnificent position. What a thriller it has been.
The 5-minute gun round the ends, race 4, Louis Vuitton Cup final. Alinghi coming in from the right or starboard. Oracle coming in from the left.
Be ready to go on the breeze if I stay here.
190 even line. 190 even line.
The voice of Peter Holmberg, be ready to go on the breeze of
Not real strong either way, Peter.
He may turn up real sharply here. Looks like they decided not to. I was going to say there's been a big shift to the right.
Tight left.
Tight leeward.
Since they set the starting lineup, it was set at 190. The course was set at 190.
Show slow, guys. Show slow, but be ready to let off the brakes for me, please.
Peter Holmberg saying, be ready to let off the brakes.
Cut! Cut!
Fire on our tack. Taxi, not get to start.
We're 30 metres back from the start line.
Okay, we are starting.
Our north star is 6.8 knots.
90 degree by
From 196.
Yes, both of us on starboard. Both of us on starboard.
Saying both of us on
80
starboard.
degrees by us right now.
That's part of that on-the-water or on-board umpire system. PJ, the on-board umpires confirm that.
Still want the lift
Brad
to
confirms it to Russell.
Still hit me with the lift.
Only 4 degrees by us now.
Brad wants the left. You heard that.
No, it's 195. It's about a quarter of a mile from the boat.
3.5 minutes to the start. Both held in the data. Real control.
What do you think of Murray, eh?
What's that?
It still looks more breeze left for me.
On the main and on the headset.
Starboard tack a little bit.
Sanderson on the main trim. 310.
Get ready to go to port here. Let's slowly go on to port. Jordy, give me a little port, please. Come on.
Peter Holmberg going to port. 3 minutes.
Jordy's all the way up on the bow, so you can tell where Peter's talking to. All the way up to the front of the boat. Jordy Shaver there, right by the tack at the forward edge of the jib.
Keep doing that.
He's trying to back out of this position. Running quickly out of time.
And
Look out, Oracle.
hold it up, okay? Trim on, main.
This is going to work for him, actually. Here we go. He's getting some
Good
pace
tip, hold
on.
that. Main off a little bit. I want to go forward. Main off, clean off a bit, please. Main off, I want bow down. Good there? Okay, main on, go. One main, go main. Good tap, good tap. He's main now, he's main now. He's main, please. We got the port first, eh? Come on.
Pretty far apart from each other.
We were on port first. Sell it for me, Tommy. We were on port.
Would have definitely hit him, guys.
Just flag is up on the good track by the umpires. It's a good call.
Time to kill the pin.
It was close, but it wasn't definitive. The breeze has gone left now, 180. So,
You got to take your tab. Plenty of tab.
in the initial stage.
145.
145.
What's the favorite line?
One back the back of the pin.
Stand by jiving. There we go. Jiving now.
But all the strength is with Oracle right now.
Nice jive. Full speed,
Then
please.
Alinghi. Alinghi's going to try to lead back for Oracle here. Oh, no, they decided not to.
What do you want? He's going for the hip.
By Alinghi, they would have been too slow, too early to lead back from me.
So Oracle is going to drive that currently on starboard. Meanwhile, Alinghi, who is hitting on port. Down to the place control.
Here's a critical move. We'll come back to this one later. You watch how this works.
1 minute.
Nice guys.
And hello, Oracle has turned inside. It looks as though they want to go for the lead back as well. They're in the windward position. At 50 seconds.
They're away now.
Down to
Nice speed, please.
Well, but it's a weak position for Alinghi, pushing for that far behind.
Fred says on time, thank you.
You can come down a little with him anyway. Just give yourself a little bit extra
It's
space.
going to be a very strong start for Oracle.
Just get a nice second.
If they're early, it could be race over.
But he'll a lot of time though, huge amount of time. Holbrook coming down.
Come on, trim it on.
20 seconds. Both boats on starboard, both coming out to the pinion. They both got the lead. At 15, they're still going to kill time. Geordie Shaver calling Peter Holbrook out. Alinghi coming up onto the hill. Oracle 6-5 for their wrestling. They're coming out to the pinion of the line. Oracle down to Lewin ahead. We see the left is forward and they're down to Lewin ahead. So Peter Holbrook
Keep me relative more often.
Just keep your bow up.
Way over target.
Just keep you faster, keep it up. Want to keep the bow up, but look for the ease. Okay, ease calm, sail on our boat.
To keep it up, and Alinghi is backed off. They could not live on the hill. So the early advantage to Oracle. After a superstar by Peter Holbrook. Boy, time on distance here, they hit right to the button.
Peter, that all goes back to about a minute 20 when the boats decided to turn back to the line. Peter Holbrook turned back. Alinghi had to choose. They
Carefully
really
keep it up on the
had to
wind.
go on behind and push Oracle back towards the line. But what Peter Holbrook did at that point was to turn head to wind, almost tacking the boat, which tempted Alinghi to go ahead and jive behind and get in there. And Oracle pulled the bow down at just the right time, got accelerated. Beautiful start. Great job.
Let's try to sail it
Now,
higher.
look for the boats to separate for a while, because this course is not a simple one. They're each going to be looking for a pup to come back on.
Nice guys, full trim.
Just ask Cameron, does he
Solid here for a
left
while,
or right, or right from where we are?
Here's some horns in the distance. That's the spectator fleet.
Alinghi is tagged, so Alinghi is coming back.
He's come back.
Alinghi now back on starboard. Both boats on starboard.
Peter, that tells me one of two things. Either Alinghi got a ship that they like, or that they're trying to limit the loss to what Oracle has.
Normal, he's saying, normal.
Pressure.
No, normal.
Now, we are right between the boats, but behind them, and we have just seen a 10 or 12 degree right-hand shift, which is going to benefit Alinghi. Oracle may have missed their chance there. Look at the overhead view on virtual spectator. Alinghi 2 boat lengths ahead, 2.5 lengths ahead. At this point, Oracle may have missed an opportunity there.
650 metres separation between the boats. Oracle electing not to take the first shift off the line, carried on starboard. Alinghi got out there, got a bit of leverage, 25 degrees right-hand shift, and right now they hold that 5-length advantage.
How about ahead of us up here?
Well, the team on Oracle, will they rue the chance of getting that initial advantage? They had a beautiful start, but now trailing.
Okay, it's a little blast.
Right for the next minute, and then there'll be good breeze. Won't be any more right, I would say, but it's good breeze.
Their instruction, Murray Jones, right up there in the ring.
A little lower than him at this. He's
He's
got
communicating down to Brad Butterworth what he's seeing further up the track, bird's eye view. Richard Bazay is the downwind trimmer on board Alinghi.
Light for 30.
And now the game's evening out. This is interesting. We're seeing the classic example here of the effect of the changing wind direction.
It's down on heading.
We're showing advantage now going back to Oracle, so they've toughed it out well in the leeward position. They didn't panic.
Top left at the moment.
The lead has switched during this first leg of race 4. Oracle winning the start, getting to the left, but hanging in on the left. The first shift favoured Alinghi, and although they've lost that lead, it's only been briefly, and they're back in front at the moment as the wind tends to go to the right yet again.
Certainly at the first cross there, USA 76 Oracle attempting to get back to the right, minimise the loss, but it's still an advantage of close to 5 boat lengths, which is a big lead.
But I agree with you.
You see,
See towards the tall ship, there's a funny puff on the water there, which might be a...
Is that
really
little boat?
fickle, I think.
Is a little boat on the wind there? Because he's really headed.
A little bit of urgency there to get back left. And
So use the puff to get it
what's
going a little
fascinating
fast.
to listen to is all the electronic enhancements the boats have for determining wind direction, but you heard the good old, like, P-class skills there, looking up the course, looking at a cruising boat right up the course that was telling them what wind direction was coming down. But here we're coming up to the second cross now with Alinghi just maintaining about a 4-length advantage.
Take on him.
We're very lifted,
We're
Cap,
getting out
224.
towards that forehand lay line, and once you get on the lay line, the tactical option for Oracle greatly reduced. 4 lengths advantage to Alinghi and approaching the forehand lay line.
Closing in on the left-hand side of the track here, Peter. Oracle's running out of time to keep it close, but at least they're staying
Thought it was
near.
a left. I think you're going to get a hard left right now. Just watch your ankles, please.
Yeah,
Put the
that's all I'm doing, man.
Down, Chris Dixon was saying, watch your ankles. Peter Holden said,
Trim
well, that's what
on.
I'm
Put
doing.
the bow up. Big trim on.
Well, they stuck their bow down a little bit to tempt Alinghi into tacking early. A little bit of a trick, especially if you know you're about to get lifted. You put your bow down, the other boat thinks that you're on the wind, so they tack in position to block you. And then you put your bow up when they've tacked so that you're on the wind, the real wind.
But look for the traveller down on ease if you got it.
And you find you're clear, and that certainly is what Oracle did right here. Oracle advantage, and they're getting a puck now that's helping them.
Fourth pole's going to be less
Above lay line,
a little faster than Russell's and Shop and
only 3 boat lengths of separation. That's a nice job by Oracle of clawing back into the match
What are
here.
you talking about? The wind direction here, built for the run. What is it?
Well, puffs come so I can use them.
It's good to stay here. We're just right in front of them, still higher than him. Quite happy to do this. He's
Could
tacking
stay
down
light
there.
for about a minute.
He's got to tack and get out of that, so they're going to have to tack once.
Big loss.
They're going to have to put a hitch in. Just to get clear here, we heard Brad Butterworth saying
Put it bow
he
down
liked
and
where
ease some
Oracle
sails.
was because he would know that the disturbed airflow was coming down onto Oracle.
Speed still dropping. Holding now.
There'll be more pressure between us and the mark.
So Chris Dixon commenting on Peter Holberg. Put you down, fan down, Peter. Keep
You're only just lying.
It's a big head on us.
You're only just lying.
Yeah, I think Oracle's going to get a nice little lift and puff here in about 2 lengths.
No, you probably won't at 226.
Keep sailing, guys.
We'll see. Anyway, Alinghi's cleared it well and truly.
Okay, here's the horn for a course change.
As pressure down the right,
End
Cap.
of the first leg here in race 4 of the Louis Vuitton Cup final. And Alinghi round mark 1.
He didn't make it. He's going to shoot it. He's going to tag.
They're going to shoot it. Now this is a classic case of shooting the mark. Rather than tacking again, they are conceding boat speed to hang in on port. They've got the pole out as well.
Robbie, don't let it back, right?
Boy, are they going to be slow, Peter, when they round this.
So it's going to be big to know and trim out of here.
Dropped.
Ready, Robbie, go.
So they actually would have been better to stay on for another boat length or 2
Easy, man.
of their last tag. So there's
Just the whole
38
course there, little
seconds
Bill.
behind.
One,
Alinghi lead
and
Oracle.
hoist.
And out of that 38 seconds, 15 of it at least was lost in the last 100 meters.
Now, interesting that just now we're getting another right-hand push to the breeze, 220, 225 in the wind direction, but a nice wind speed increase. So both of these boats sailing in pretty good breeze, but more for Oracle building from astern. So they may start to gain here shortly.
He's got
At the first mark, Alinghi is leading by 38
He's
seconds.
jiving now.
In a pretty good position at that stage, but as we were just looking at the situation out there a short time ago. Pete Lester, you were saying, well, look at this. This might favour Oracle.
Well, here's a jibe, not a good one. This is a shocker. Unfortunately, it's all gone bad on this jibe. And in fact, they got a twist, so they had to jibe back onto starboard tack so the sail didn't get twisted up. So that's a mistake. That's a handling mistake there.
Anybody can grab it?
Way up there.
Running square is good for puffs.
And here we go again. Here's the jibe. The blue is floated out. This will be okay. This time it's working.
A little bit more on.
Jibe complete.
Nice there.
Big separation now between the boats, but that false jibe, if everything else stays even in terms of the wind strength and direction, the false jibe would have cost Oracle.
Target.
10 minutes. 13 minutes.
What about a straight line time?
And that has certainly been expensive. 12 lengths, the advantage there. Oracle now on that forehand lay line, and 1,172 metres apart. That is an enormous separation. And looking there at the course, we can see them virtually heading straight down towards the bottom mark. And that has been a big right-hand degree wind shift coming from that direction there. And looking at Alinghi's track, it really is the long jibe on port jibe down that way.
Below the mark
Yes,
at all?
I am. I want to go below the mark because we're eventually going to get lighter.
Oracle powering up quite nicely there at the moment, Peter.
Yeah, got a staysail on. That's the small sail inside the Jenica. But you know, here's a graphic example. Oracle in the leeward position has got different wind direction and more pressure. Alinghi in the windward position, big separation between the boats. Very hard to cover on these downwind legs. But right now, the charge is coming from Oracle. They're right down on that ley line. The blue trail is Oracle, the windward trail is Alinghi.
Angle we can here.
And this is roll the dice, but Oracle are making a charge. Good pressure, they have even more wind speed.
And get a headsel on deck.
And it will be very hard for Alinghi to come back and cover them because the trailing boat in this situation with big separation really is in a position
Code 0 energy on
to
deck.
take a bit of a risk
on deck.
and make a gain.
Still pretty localised from behind us.
Big left-hand shift, and we can now see that Alinghi are also starting to bend down towards the mark. But look at the separation difference. We're right down to 39, 49, 40 metres between the boats. But the significant thing there is the separation. The separation is opening up an opportunity for Oracle. That's just 1,166 metres. Alinghi are not able to cover from this position. They will be nervous.
Race committee, SUI 64.
Oracle just charging. You can just see the difference in boat speed at the moment. That is a function of wind strength.
Bullet, eh?
And when you're over a kilometre apart, it is so easy to have very, very different wind strengths.
Yeah.
And at this stage, could we be about to see a change of leader here? Alinghi,
Just keep working a little bit.
a kilometre apart from Oracle, who at the moment are on the charge. Could we see a change in the lead
now. He's
before
gone
mark
light again.
number 2?
So we've just been through the hole he had. So we don't mind coming down a couple with this puff if down's quicker.
So we've had another lead change though. Oracle being shown out front. Certainly that matches more what my eye says. Close to, well, getting close to 8 boat lengths ahead there. You can see that Oracle sailing a higher angle, trying to go faster because they've overlaid the mark. They're trying to reach up and shrink that distance. It was 1,100 meters, now it's down to 700.
Really sort of weird out here. It might be the old sea bridge right out this way.
It's a very interesting point that Murray Jones saying really sort of weird out here. It might be the sea breeze coming in because some prominent people had predicted that there wouldn't even be a race today because of the clash between the sea breeze from the Pacific against the breeze coming in from the
needed
Tasman
earlier.
Sea.
Well, here's what's happened since the mark. Alinghi rounded in a 230 wind direction. Now it's 250. So it's headed them. When they rounded the weather mark, they were aiming at the leeward mark. Why would you jibe away from that? The reason is that they ran out of wind. And Oracle, jibing and then trying to get back in the middle and jibing again, was able to stay in more pressure. But right now, there's a new pressure line filling across onto Alinghi, and they're sailing around over the top of Oracle again.
Bit of pressure coming now on us.
Actually, I reckon Oracle's got a bit more pressure now, looking at their bow.
Got 2 lengths there now.
104.
Very close to it. That's it there. That's it.
So Brad Butterworth says that Oracle's got 2 boat lengths.
I think what he's saying is that they're on ley line or very close.
So Oracle's coming in more powered up. Oracle, here comes Alinghi coming through on the jibe. What a crazy day. This is just tough work for the afterguard.
And look how Oracle's going to cross in front of them. Jib up, kites coming down. Oracle with lots of pace to come around this mark with. They'll be 7 lengths ahead in my eye. Here's the boat speed. Look at Alinghi's boat speed down to 5 knots, 4.5 knots.
Mark 2, race 4, Louis Vuitton Cup final. In this crazy roller coaster, topsy-turvy day, it is Oracle, skippered by Chris Dixon with Peter Holberg on the helm, that rounds in front. This after trailing by 38 seconds at mark number 1. Tremendous support for Oracle, particularly on the huge catamaran from Queensland, the base club. And this is a big lead. Now the wind's at 5 knots from 215.
So far, but right, there's a bit of pressure away.
It's so far right. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's just get Alinghi around the course and then we'll use a watch and get in to just go through that as though they started at 12 o'clock. So here, rounding the leeward mark, Alinghi trailing by 56 seconds. Well, who would have ever believed that on this leg? Now, let's go back to use a watch to non-safe. On the first beat here, the breeze would have gone right to say what, 1:30, 2 o'clock?
It's 2:15, but we should go. There's more pressure right, Russell, and more right
But
than the
then,
right.
so Brad Butterworth, 2:15, more pressure on the right, got to get there now. But on that last leg downhill, when the breeze went out, what did you say, 247?
On Alinghi, they were saying 256 at one point.
256. So that means then the wind had gone round to about 4 o'clock.
It had gone at 70 degrees to the right of where it had been.
Yes, so looking at your watch, it would have got, it's gone a huge shift. This is an absolute minefield out here.
You can see the wind direction from the smoke on the shores in our direction.
That is Cameron Dunn, high aloft aboard Oracle, reporting back
See, I don't want to fade
to
in
the
the left.
afterguard of Oracle with Tommaso Chiesa, Chris Dixon.
Consistent in the
And
left.
now up into
That's him now.
Coming straight with us.
So here comes Oracle tacking and Alinghi is tacked as well. They're going through very wide tacking angles now as the breeze has dropped down. We're at 6.1 knots at the moment.
Peter, off the course to the right where these guys are aiming, there's a cruising boat going upwind with a nice new breeze that's coming out of the northwest, which is a big shift around to the right. And these guys, they both see it, and they're aiming for it now.
Oh, that's Moonbeam.
Yeah, after that, right?
Beautiful boat, a fabulous vintage boat, classic yacht, here for the Classic Yacht Regatta. Very famous, just beautiful.
In these conditions, the classical covering match racing tactic probably goes out the window. What's important is who's got the pressure, who's got the wind direction, and in the leeward position on the right, you've got Alinghi, and her bow is like 20 degrees more to the left Then Oracle in the windward position. Oracle went round the mark, 56 seconds ahead, but now they're under attack. They have not had the wind pressure. Alinghi making a gain.
And looking there, we can see they're getting right out onto that side of the course. The advantage lane now, very, very narrow. It's only down to around 1.5 boat lengths. Alinghi's closed the game right up. But one of these boats is going to get a sniff of that pressure first. And Moonbeam, who we've been watching a moment ago, is further up the course around here. And up at that part of the course, what we're actually getting is the breeze from this direction. Presently down here, it's more from there. And just looking at that, we can actually see the boat starting to rotate around towards the mark. So that's a big left-hand shift. That's going to favour Oracle. It looks like perhaps they're just picking up that breeze at last.
Here they go. They're into the wind. Strength and direction that Moonbeam had. We second Moonbeam now in just under the leeward position of Alinghi. But both boats now are into the new breeze. We've got the weather swaddles up the mast, looking up towards the East Coast bays. Oracle just managed to take advantage of that left-hand wind change. 8-9 knots.
Big righty here.
Big. That's around 40 degrees, 45 degrees wind shift. I mean, on the downwind there, we saw the wind direction turn to 7.
About coming up? Up on the wind?
We've just heard from a chase boat from Alinghi alongside Moonbeam that the breeze has gone around to 240. That's a big right-hand shift over there. Alinghi tacking onto starboard. One thing is for sure, not 56 seconds anymore. What the margin for Oracle was in mark number 2.
Just sail our boat, please. Sail our boat. Get a building.
Keeping his crew focused.
Now, Glenn, if it's going to go back to 240 degrees, of course, that could play into the Alinghi hands tactically. That would indicate right-hand wind direction further up the course.
Softer near the top, but this breeze is coming in for a fair wobble.
That may be the case, Peter, but it's interesting to know. I'm actually picking Oracle on leyline. The breeze has just suddenly gone so far right that Oracle, if the breeze stays in this direction,
A little bit fast is good, I guess.
in fact, is overlaid the mark. So that's how shifty it is, how far right it's
10
gone.
high the mark.
And let's just look at how big that right-hand shift has been if we lay it on there. And that's the ley line we can see there to leeward of both boats coming down there. So they are both well overlaid at the moment. That's the blue trail of Oracle. And if the breeze stays in this direction and they're both able to lay, while it shows an 82-metre advantage crosswind if they both lay, I would suggest that Oracle's lead, in fact, will be closer to 400 metres. They have picked this nicely.
Boats are getting headed a little bit now. They were just reaching fully. Now they're fully back on the wind.
Yellow Marco fresh.
Might ease this pump.
This race is far from over. There's a lot more craziness to come.
Coming down with this one a bit. You could probably go now to get Bob. Easing. Just come down, Peter. Come down. Let's get every metre. Let's come down to that. Still above it, come down.
Yeah, I'm happy here.
It'll be a length and a half below, don't we?
Yeah, I'll get there. What do you need, Moose? You need oars or top man?
Now we are going to have him to
I'll give you yeah, I'm going to go below his line.
Great support out
These
here.
guys, if you got it.
Spectators
How
everywhere.
about a lure jockey pole?
What am I doing?
Well, Peter, the breeze back to about 230. 245 was our biggest radio this day. And we're down to about 9 knots of wind, where the top end was 12 and a half. So we may be seeing another change coming through.
Here we go, guys. Turning now.
Mark number 3, race 4, Louis Vuitton Cup final, and Oracle around the mark. As they go into the second off-wind leg.
2, 1, and hoist.
Oh, look out. Oracle cutting across the front of Alinghi. Looks like they'll just make it. Again, that's a call for the helmsman, but a risk because you're on port tack and the windward boat coming along is on starboard. Looks like they made it okay, though.
Now, remember, Oracle led by 56 seconds at mark number 2 after trailing by 38 seconds at mark 1.
The next puff's on the other side of these boats.
Soon after rounding mark 2, Alinghi closed the game up to a couple of boat lengths, 10-15 seconds. Now it's extended out again, and the Louis Vuitton clock looks on that. 57 seconds. So, believe it or not, the last mark was 56. This is 57. After all that we've seen, it's a game to Oracle of 1 second. So Alinghi a hoist.
Time, boy.
Oracle looked like they're heading straight down the track to me.
Well, there's been another course change, Peter, so they should be sailing on a pretty fair, square run. They should have to do a few jives. 250 meters ahead right here. That's a significant lead.
Alinghi in the trailing position, able to sail a bit deeper.
10 and 8.
They're over 400 metres apart now, Peter, and looking at, in fact, 430 metres. So we've seen just how streaky the breeze is out here when you're only a couple of boat lengths apart.
What do you see, Murray?
And when you're over 400 metres apart, one gets the feeling looking there as they head out towards that ley line.
Behind us, where the 2 boats are.
Yeah, it's dead upwind of us, for sure.
Yeah.
That perhaps Alinghi has just got a slightly different wind direction. And Murray Jones up the top of his rig, up the top of the rig.
It's probably lifted, it's not headed.
Communicating with the afterguard down below.
Can you hear me?
Pressure's coming onto us. He's very light now.
That's the wind strength on the committee boat.
Some pressure on
And I would suggest there's a bit more breeze at the bottom of the course. It certainly doesn't look like there's 9 knots per hour at the moment.
What do you think, Murray?
We should go with it, I
What's
think.
interesting is that if it was normal conditions, in this sort of lead, you'd say, hey, we wouldn't be too excited about the race. But because it is so tricky, so changeable, wind speed up and down, the big separation can mean that the trailing boat can sail themselves into a position to make a huge gain. Now, this is interesting. We've got Oracle already jibed, wanting to central up, coming back towards the middle of the course.
No better breeze. What?
You're happy to jibe?
Yeah, if you want to, it's pretty even.
Communication,
It's
Murray
okay out
Jones.
here. If you want to go straight, it's okay.
I would go.
Still looks better just behind us.
Yacht wants to jibe,
Yeah.
Brad Butterworth, not sure.
What's wrong with this?
It's one of those days, Liam, where it sounds like the indecision there. It's okay if you want to sort of thing, when most of the time we hear the really confident decision making.
We're seeing a little bit of a change from Alinghi today. Of course, they've sailed very, very well in the first 3 races to go 3-0 up. It just sounds like there's a little more anxiety on board today.
Now, what was going on there, we could see that Yacht and Schumann, Ernesto Bertarelli, just giving the main boom a bit of a pump. Now, the sail has got full-length battens, and the battens in the very head of the sail, and the top of the sail, in light conditions, need a little bit of assistance to flick through so you can gain that aerofoil shape. So coming in, and we can see just above the America's Cup Syndicate emblem there above the red stripe. That's the baton immediately in from Murray Jones. It's the top two batons above that you've got to, when you jibe, you need to flick the batons through to gain the shape.
Oracle is just storming away from Alinghi at the moment. They've gained 6 lengths.
Jumping around everywhere.
The top mark, they're now 380 metres ahead, heading down towards the bottom mark. And at the moment, it would seem to be a case of the rich getting richer.
8 and 6.
So Oracle heading down towards mark number 4.
Nice, that's me.
And after
feel
those
pressure,
first
we'll
two
take these
races
again.
where so many of the international media were saying it was all over for Oracle, they now have a smile on their face. And Oracle fans all around the world will be delighted to see this performance today.
Now, Ed, as they approach the bottom mark, have in fact Oracle extended. It looks to us as though they have.
Well, Oracle just recently has hooked into a little bit of pressure and has been sailing away from Alinghi very quickly. Oracle looks very comfortable in this breeze. They got a nice heel on. They got, look at that. I mean, they've gained 100 meters just in the last 2 minutes.
They've been able to sail lower, haven't they?
Yep, and it's a little bit pressure, and I think just a little bit that they're happy in this wind speed. They seem to be jetting downwind.
They're coming here pretty quick.
Well, there's the mark on the left-hand side at the bottom of the screen.
Minute and a half.
Oracle getting ready to put a jib up.
Sitting there.
Nice and slow, man. It's plenty early.
Feel the bounce and the voice of the afterguard of Oracle. Oracle fans out on the base club. Tremendous enthusiasm.
Nice and slow in the turn, guys. Pretty light. Yep, Matt, go ahead.
That's the voice of Peter Holbert.
Nice slow turn.
About the slow turn.
Here we go.
Mark number 4, race 4, Louis Vuitton Cup fight. Oracle running the mark. Back. Nice. Up on the wind.
Let's get up to speed. And then
Or beat number 3. Or leg number 5. Second last leg of the race. Alinghi, meanwhile, still heading down to the bottom mark of the wind mark. And they have a long way to go still.
This is a fresh breeze they've had for a while, isn't it?
Oracle to the right, on the wind.
It's about 40 seconds.
Under the 8. Here comes the head salon.
Quite away.
About
About
3
3.
to a past a minute. Oracle led by 57 seconds at mark number 3.
Well, and Alinghi very fortunate recently, Peter, to have gotten a nice little pop that's taken a huge amount of the distance between the boats back off in terms of time. They're still quite a bit behind here.
Here we go, driving now. On the final approach to the bottom mark. 1:45 and the Louis Vuitton clock still.
Better get some runner on here.
Copy that.
Jones saying better get some runner on here.
He would know he'd have to rig if he wanted to move around when the rudder's not on it.
2 minutes and still counting. Meanwhile, Oracle is on. Making very good progress in what appears to be a lovely steady breeze. Two to the left, Alinghi out to the right. Heading to the leeward mark, circled by spectator craft. 2.5 minutes and still counting. 2 minutes 34 seconds.
Oracle 500 meters ahead. That's probably the biggest lead crosswind we've seen in any race at the Louis Vuitton Cup final.
Yeah.
There it is there, 510 metres as the yachts head up towards mark number 5. The blue trail of Oracle in the lead.
Glenn, it's interesting there, looking down the forestay. Look at the forestay sag. That's a function of, you know, the running, the top of the backstays. That controls the forestay sag. Great shot looking down the forestay. Now that sag in the forestay is controlled by the backstays that run to the back of the boat. Now when it's lighter wind, sometimes you'll sail with a bit of forestay sag to generate a little bit more horsepower, giving the boat a little bit more feel.
Yeah, big breeze line ahead here in a
Barry
minute.
Jones trying to pick where the best breeze is up ahead.
He's up again.
And there's the advantage line there, 575 metres. That is simply an enormous lead in the context of this Louis Vuitton final. And how pleased must this team be feeling today after the intense disappointment of losing that nail biter yesterday. Well, let's take a look at a replay of perhaps one of the most crucial stages in the race. At the previous beat to windward, we saw it was down to 2 boat lengths, 2.5 lengths when Alinghi tacked. And looking there, Oracle tacked on top of them, forced Alinghi out to the right. And just as they tacked, the breeze shifted dramatically to the right. Forget that crosswind advantage line, because now all of a sudden both boats are overlaid, and that extra tack there was really the killer for Alinghi, because had they stayed there and not done the tack, what they didn't know, of course, was that the breeze was about to shift to the right so dramatically, but they would have been able to live there with the breeze shifting so far right, and they would have actually stayed relatively close, and they would have been in a position where they may have been able to tack down this next run. But really, that extra tack that we saw down at that point there, that was really the killer for them.
So this is mark number 5 to complete beat number 3. Round this mark, the spinnaker hoist, and Oracle is heading for home. All for hoist. Wayne Smith in the pit, Geordie Shaver, Bill Bates, David Brook, working at the bow, mid-bow, and on the mast. That's a lovely hoist by Oracle. Wow, are they playing on confidence now? Up and gone.
See, we have to tack here.
He has jobs already.
So Alinghi's going to have to tack. It's going to be more time lost.
Yeah, just coming to us.
And interesting, Peter, that Oracle has already jived onto starboard downwind to stay not only in touch with the puff that they're in and the shift that they're in, but to stay in the center of the race course. And if needed, they can spend some of their lead to you know, chase off to whichever side Alinghi decides to go around this mark. So good move by Oracle to position themselves well. They do have plenty of lead to use it that way.
2 minutes clicks over, and Alinghi shoot round the mark. So Alinghi's trailing at mark 4 by 2 minutes 34 seconds. Here at mark 5, going into the last leg of the race. Trail by 2 minutes and 13 seconds. There's the hoist from Alinghi.
Just jive back. You see them going their sail on the new side, and you see the big puff between them, that dark water. That's a puff that's about to hit Oracle. Oracle will be once again able to sail deeper and more down the course towards the next mark, while Alinghi is in lighter air behind.
Down will keep you in this one. Oops, sorry, Chris.
There you go. Trailing Oracle into the last leg of the race. Chris Dixon in the steam, sailing confidently with a huge advantage.
What a great shot there. Cargo ship leaving the Waitemata Harbour with that enormous power wave coming out of the front of the bowl.
Actually, that's quite a good illustration
It's a little
of
low
what,
for us for 30
what
seconds.
they've tried to do to make the waterline length longer on the IACC boats. Graphic example there on a cargo ship, what you can do with bow profile to make that ship's waterline length longer, not dissimilar to what the theory behind the appendage on the back of the boats and now the double knuckle bow on the IACC boat.
Brad Butterworth looking behind at the breeze, turning around, looking at Oracle. He knows that this race is gone, barring a major disaster. And the two yachts there, that picture is very deceiving. They're 600 meters behind. Oracle getting close to the finish line now. Alinghi just sailing behind. There's very few passing lanes. We heard earlier in the race, Yacht and Schumann, when they got a long way behind, saying, let's just pray that the conditions go light and shifty. And unfortunately for Alinghi, Brad Butterworth there, they did exactly the opposite. They stabilised, steadied down as they so often do at this time of the day. And really, from there on, the die was cast.
To the left.
Yeah, I saw it.
Rakino Island to the left, Rotatapu to the right, Waiheke Island in the background.
And Peter, it's all gone Oracle's way since about halfway down that first leeward leg, hasn't it? It didn't look like it was going to work for them up the first beat. They got the start. They maybe failed to convert from the start, but
He
it's
was
hard
220.
to,
I
hard
don't
to
think he's
guess
any
it.
closer.
But they definitely got
did a
behind.
nice guy.
Alinghi looked like they were stretching out comfortably. Oracle fought back a little bit on the first beat, only to be pushed out to the side at the end of the beat by Alinghi. Alinghi looked comfortable and solidly in front down the first run. Oracle had some crew work problems, wrapping the spinnaker around the headstay on a jibe, having to jibe back, going off the edge of the course. But it's like the hand from above came down and just moved them forward into a magical position. And since then, they've stretched and stretched. Look at the distance ahead. Nearly 700 meters. And growing still. Well, they'll be excited to get this finished, but a lot of work to do still.
Hey guys, don't get too excited. We got 4 more to go, eh? Excellent job, though, everybody. Back of the boat, really good, man.
Yeah, on camera.
Okay.
And a nice drop on the Jenica when needed.
Advice from Peter Holmberg to help the crew aboard. Don't get too excited. We've got 4 more to go. It can be done. Remember that fantastic contest between Infidel 20 and El Moro de Venezia back in '92. Infidel 20 actually went to 4-1 up, finally beaten, of course, 5-3. You may wonder how they go to 4 and end up on 3. That's a long story. It stays back in 1992. It's been a day when the Hauraki Gulf was at its shifty, temperamental, and moody best as the wind shifted in direction. And the pressure was a roller coaster up and down as it vacillated to create a minefield for the afterguards.
Hope we weren't over early.
Whoa!
Whoa! Nice job, guys. Come on, Peter.
The line to take their
One down, eh? Good job, boys.
For a huge win. And Chris Dixon congratulates his team as we hear the fly laconic humor of Peter Holmberg. I hope we weren't over early, meaning that he was just nervous until he heard the gun, which of course did not. So that's a very, very
drop
good
when you
win.
guys are, Matt.
Got this, Billy?
Yesterday when the Oracle crew know that they could have, and they think should have won race 3. Now they get their first race. And so the scoreline now is Alinghi 3, Oracle 1. Alinghi come down to the line.
Right on your stern.
And they finish 2 minutes 13 seconds. 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Oracle has beaten Alinghi on a day where emotions have been high and low, where world-class sailing reputations have been taunted, tantalised, and hung out to dry.
That's fine. That's probably good enough. Conditions here.
It is